Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. In this video, we'll do something a little different, which is we're going to talk about snapping, the importance of it, and how to add some tips and advice to get better. This is not my normal type of video. This is out of my comfort zone because I hate videos where it's just me talking because I tend to talk too fast and make it hard to understand. So I'm going to try and speak a little slower. Hopefully, I can keep it up for the whole video. Who knows? Anyways, so the idea of this video is I put out this post here that you can see on Twitter asking for some feedback on why snapping is important and advice for people trying to get better at snapping. And I got a few replies for some great content creators. Every content creator and person that I've took the advice from and I'm going to show you their replies in here. Their link to their Twitter will be in the description below. Check them out. They're all great creators and great snap players. So before we get fully into the video, don't forget to leave a hit that subscribe button and hit that like button and leave a comment if any of these tips or advice help you, or if you've got any that I didn't mention. So before we get this is right. I'm gonna do this one take. So before we get into the advice on that, I use the same deck, the deck that's on screen, for 30 games with 3 different snap styles. First one, the top one with the 8 cubes, a small cube game, was me not snapping for 10 games. Luckily enough, I went 7-3 and all of the games, so kind of evens out. Which 70% win rate is great, but look at the difference in the cubes. This one, 70% win rate, I didn't snap at all, right? And I've won 3 games, I won 7 and lost 3. Which means like my wins were getting me just over 1 cube, which is ridiculously bad. Right, 70% win rate, fantastic. The cube rate, well, the net cube, should I say, not cube rate, net cubes. I only gained 8 cubes for 70% win rate, which is on me because I'm a bad snapper and I tend to stay in when I should retreat. The next one was me snapping on turn 1 and 2. Plus 16 cubes, should have been plus 24. I literally picked up the wrong card. I was meant to play Shang-Chi and I picked up the wrong card and lost 8 cubes for it, which was, or 4 cubes, should I say. I was 8. I think it was 4, which would have put me on, 24 cubes, which would have been 3 times higher than my not snapping. And then the other one is in between. It was me snapping a few times. Not snapping enough, ideally, but it's still up. It was me improving my snapping in games where before I'd ignore, showing that just snapping is great, right? If you want to climb, you need to snap, right? Doubling up the cubes here, the net cubes, is crazy considering all doing is snapping in this game. All the win rates are the same, and the non-snap is at the bottom. Okay, so let's get into some of the advice. The first one is from Drewsbury. This is the one that's helped me the most. Entertainment. That is a reason to snap and why snap's important, right? Makes it more exciting to watch, more exciting experience, and better to engage with. I feel like I'd be better at snapping if I streamed more, which I really do want to get to stream more. But this stuck with me. It brought this mental wall I've had on snapping since the first couple of months. Because when I first started making content, I'd get infinite. I wouldn't snap, so people would stay in, so I could get games. So I could get footage for games. And that kind of just stuck with me, and it's like this mental wall. But this is the one that's kind of been helping me. It's just more exciting, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. If I'm snapping when I'm recording videos, it's easier to find the footage for an 8 cuber than just 2 cubes, right? Helped me a lot. Hopefully it helps other people, but that's more aimed at content creators and stuff, I think. And as for laddering up, he said, I personally think folks are too shy to snap. Know your power plays, identify your opponent, and snap accordingly. So it's kind of like a straightforward reply. It's just about knowing the game, right? You need to know what's your strong thing. Look at your deck and say, if I have these cards drawn, I have a high chance of winning. And then snap on it. I don't do it. I should. It's something that I'm going to be doing more. Whenever I see 2 or 3 of the cards that I need to win a game, I'm snapping. I don't even care. As long as the location isn't against me, I don't really care what they've got because I'm going to be putting the pressure on them to stay in or retreat, right? And then we're going to pile on. So this was some of the best advice, mainly for me because I make a lot of content, a video every day on the deck. So this one helped me a lot, just thinking about it's more entertaining. And next up, we got Kibling. Snap allows the game to have more extreme and fun variants, which is true, right? You could go from like not really caring. I don't really care about 2 cubes. I'm like, oh, I'll do this for 1 cube. I'll see this out for 1 cube, which is a bad habit to have because most of the time I know I'm going to lose. But I'm like 1 cube. But if I was for an extra 4 cubes, I'm like, no, right? So the variance is there. Like people are more likely to stay in for 1 cube than they are if you are making them risk 4 cubes, 8 cubes, 6 cubes, whatever it's going to be. Making them risk the cubes. In Snap, if you get screwed, who cares? Leave for 1 cube. Yeah, exactly, right? If the locations are bad and no one snapped, you can just leave for 1 cube. But if it benefits you, you snap and you force them to retreat or force them to be screwed over, right? You can crank up the fun and let the snaps even out. So with my win rate, which is about 60-70% normally when I hit infinite, after that it kind of falls down because I'm trying different decks and trying some fun. I'm speaking fast again. I'm upset with myself. Anyways, so yeah, it's just more fun, right? It can even itself out. If you've got a decent win rate, like my win rate is good enough for me to be snapping a lot more than I do. And it would even out. I'd lose some 8 cubes, I'd gain cubes. It would even itself out. I'd probably end up higher net cubes than I normally have from just snapping. I could probably snap every game and I'd probably end up better off cube rate. At least for now, until I start climbing up the ranks and stuff like that. And then it gets a little bit more difficult because people will punish you for those snaps and then you get a little screwed. But yeah, snapping, it will even itself out. If you've got over 50% win rate, snapping will even out your cubes. So let's get on to the next one. This is from Bootman. Snapping's important because you don't want a person to get that ideal draw for free. Puts pressure on the opponent to make a choice. So we've said that, right? We've said about the pressure and forcing them to do stuff, forcing them to retreat or stay in for an extra cube. So this is just on top of that, right? The advice is to learn your deck's strongest hands inside and out and snap early, and get a lot better at retreating by learning more decks. So, oh god, it's a little off. Okay, there we go. So for this one, yeah, we did say, right, it's all about putting pressure on them. Like, it's why you play tempo cards, right? It's the same with snapping. You want to dictate the tempo. So if you snap because you're ahead or if you got your good draws, then it's pressuring them, right? It's like one of the things I seen a couple of months ago when Conquest came out was one of the top Conquest players, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Lambie or someone, or one of them lot, said, if you're on 4 cubes and they're on 3 cubes in Conquest, you always snap. Because it forces them to decide if they want to make this game their one game or not. Because at the end of the day, you still got to beat them. They still got to beat you twice, right? It doesn't matter if it's there, but you could end it with beating them once instead of twice. So it's always about pressuring them. The tempo of the game, you set it by snapping. I don't take this advice. This is not from someone that fully takes his advice. Like I said, I am a terrible, terrible snapper. Might be one of the worst snappers out there. I just don't do it. Learning other people's decks is very easy if you play a lot. A lot of this, like learning people's decks and learning your strongest hand, it all comes down to playing the game, right? If you have a rough idea of what their deck is, and you know that they're strong, like say you're facing a Loki deck, and they haven't got Collector down by turn 3, you have a very good chance to pressure them. Get on them, snap, make them panic. Because if they haven't got it then they're kind of waiting to maybe force them into playing Loki early, and then you don't have that Collector buffing up, but you're already on the board. It's very interesting. It's all about learning your deck and their deck, right? It's kind of straightforward, basic advice, right? but it's advice that needs to be pointed out a little bit. And I need to take this advice because I have a very good reading of the game. I play a lot of this game. I play a lot. I have a very good reading, but it just doesn't take over to snap for me. It's like a mental block. This is why I'm doing this video, because I have a mental block on snapping. And I seen someone comment on one of my videos saying, where I talked a little bit about how bad I am at snapping, and they were there like, it gives them hope knowing that someone that has my type of win rate wins, that knows the game and plays the game as much as me and as good as me. Their words, not mine, but is bad at snapping as well. So I was like, if I'm that bad, this dude's saying it helps him knowing that I'm bad. I thought I'd do a video on snapping. And we get on to the next one, which is from Interbang Cubes. After snap, what chips after poker? Snapping is raising the stakes for your opponent in various ways, making them ante you up to see unrevealed location, making them pay to see your hand deck. So we kind of just touched on this, right? This is just another way of wording it. You are forcing them to make a decision, right? The way this is worded is comparing to the poker, right? It makes a little bit more sense when you put it this way than like pressuring them and forcing them to do stuff, right? You are making them pay to see your cards, see your location, know what you're against, which is a very good take on why you should snap. Again, it's all about, I've said it many times in the video, it's just play into your hand, right? Forcing them, you taking control of the game. Advice for getting better is know what a good hand is for your deck. If I'm snapping like Silky Smooth, I want Craven, Kitty, Silk, Angela in my hand, a good deck, like a 51% win rate. So that means you shouldn't feel bad about retreating 49% of the time. Retreat often, right? This feels targeted. Reading this, I felt a little targeted, I'm not going to lie. Because most of the decks, I share a deck every day, in case you didn't know. Every day I post a deck, other than Sunday, which is more of a meta deck day. Most of the decks I post have 60% plus win rate, because if I can do that, then it's a decent enough deck that I can share it, right? So when my decks have got that, if I'm snapping and have to retreat 40% of the time, that's fine, right? It's just, I don't do it. I have this decent win rate on decks, but I don't snap. And the last couple of ones, which this first one, this is one I really need to take an advice from Jesse James. If you say I should leave or I can't win, trust yourself. I've done this so many times where I say, I don't think I can win this, I should leave, and then I'll play it out. If it's like, even if it's just one cube, it slowly adds up, right? I do it a lot for one cube. And I'm like, for one cube, we'll see what he's got. Let's play it out. Maybe we win, maybe we don't. Most likely we're going to lose. For one, I even do it for 4 cubes. I'm not going to lie. I do it for 4 cubes. So that extra 2 cubes, it's a very bad habit. From Binks, if you snap on District X or Weird World, your opponent will treat 50% of the time. I have seen him say this before, and I've seen it in action. I've seen like streamers watch it and then people snap on it, and it seems to work. But like I said, 50% of the time. Since he's posted this, I've snapped on it once and retreated. 100% chance, right? There you go. Great. 100% the time. From Explosive Yoda for the last one, I always snap on District X and the peak, even if my hand is garbage, and the snap adds pressure to already unideal situations. So, yeah, that is just bluff. That is just a full-on bluff. If you've got a bad hand, bluff on him. Anyways, I have rambled on enough. I hope I didn't talk too fast and make it hard to understand. I'm going to check back. And that's it for the video. If any of this advice helped, or if you've got any other advice for anyone, please leave it in a comment. As I said, all the creators that I've taken and showed in this video, I will link to their Twitter in the description. Check them out. They all do YouTubes and Twitch and all that, all the good stuff. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.